I better watch my mobile.
I just woke up in my underwear.
3, 4. The hit me for it from upper echelon. 5, 6.
I had a cane and a party hat.
7, 8. Can we party later on? Just close your eyes, sleep the day.
Static bomb.
The city's on until the
midnight whisper.
we don't feel like outsiders. Tonight,
I need you to stay.
we are the new America. We don't look around now. We don't know that so how now. Everybody dance the bed. Raise the skies for the super and we are the I'm your one to mate. Now give me some lemon so I make some lemonade.
Oh, I hear them coming down.
To number 1. Oh dear diary, I met a boy. He made my cold heart light up with joy.
Trying to keep faith and picture his face.
Welcome to the life of Electra Heart.
I don't wanna give you all my pieces.
Keep the water on, let me under your skin.
Don't think I'll ever get it now.
Do you think you got me like Sky?
I am up against the wall. The wall. I'm in the pain.
To fall, I realize you come for me. Without losing a piece of me, how do I get through that? Wanna like wood with a blossom. Wanna get through that. Never thought that I could be. Would be without losing a piece of me. Sugar baby, give me the free love, give me the kiss. Sugar baby, I'm gonna be all impossibility, I believe someone's watching over me. I believe I've got far away to be.
And I can't help but to hear, no, I can't help but to hear an exchanging of words. What a beautiful wedding, what a beautiful wedding, says a bridesmaid to a waiter. Yes, but what a shame the poor groom's bride is a... I chime in with a haven't you people ever heard of closing a damn door? No, it's much better to face these kinds of things since a poison rationality. I chime in, haven't you people ever heard of closing a damn door? No, it's much better to face these kinds of things with a sense of...
Welcome to the room of people who have rooms of people that they love one day docked away. Just because we check the guns at the door doesn't mean our brains will change from hand grenades. You laughing on the psychopath sitting next to you. You laughing on the murderer sitting next to you. You think I'd get here sitting next to you. But after all I've said,
pour the champagne, pour the champagne.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow.
Closing a damn door.
Wait for them to ask you who you know.
Since a poison rationality.
Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know the half of me you.
With a sense of, well, in fact, we'll all look at it this way. I mean, technically, America saved. Well, this calls for a toast, so pour the champagne. Oh, well, in fact, we'll all look at it this way. I mean, technically, our marriage is saved. Well, this calls for a toast, so pour the champagne, pour the champagne.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know.
I chime in with the haven't you people ever heard of closing a damn door? No, it's much better to face these kinds of things with a sense of
You knew you should have stayed. I tried to warn you just to stay away. And now they're outside ready to buzz. It looks like you might be one of us.
Always aiming paper airplanes at me when you're around. You build me up like building blocks just so you can break me down. You put a fever inside me, and I've been cold since you left. Out for that boy.
Jump starting your car cause the city's a bore. Buying these cigarettes at the convenience store. Taking you cliches on our own little tour. That's right, yeah.
Wish we could turn back time to the good old days when the mama sang us to sleep, but now we're stressed out.
We like your shades of purple out of red and blue. Taking in the street like honey, don't need money. All I need is you.
We're stressed out. Apples aren't always appropriate apologies. Butterscotch and bubblegum drops are bittersweet to me. But then your eyes started to wander, 'cause they weren't looking at me. You weren't looking for me. Out for that boy.
We say jokes way too far. The sometimes living's too hard. Like two halves of one heart. Yeah.
Wish we could turn back time to the good old days when the mama sang us to sleep, but now we're stressed out.
We like your shades of purple out of red and blue.
Can't you come for me? I'm begging you to keep on. I'm begging you to keep on. I'm begging you to keep on. We're talking different names. We would build a rocket ship and then we'd fly far away. Used to dream of outer space, but now they're laughing at the face, saying, "Wake up, you need to make money." Yeah. Wish we could turn back time to the good old days when the mama sang us to sleep, but now we're stressed out.
We like your shades of purple out of red and blue. Taking in the street like honey, don't need money. All I need is
Stop worrying about things I can't control. Stop worrying about the dollars I don't know. Stop worrying about the things I cannot know. And sometimes it feels so good. Money don't matter if it feels for you. Money don't matter if your heart. Money don't matter if it feels for you. I used to worry every day. Now I got better things. Cause I'm hurrying, so down and take control. Cause I'm worrying about your problems, you should know. Cause I'm feeling like my life is such a mess. Because the world's got me in it. It's my time and I should live it. Money don't matter if it feels for you. Money don't matter if your heart. Money don't matter if it feels for you. I used to worry every day. Now I got better things. The people say, it don't matter what the people do. Oh, it don't matter what the people say. Cause I said, baby, you gotta stop worrying. Money don't matter if it feels for you. Money don't matter if your heart. Money don't matter if it feels for you. I used to worry every day. Now I got better things.
Just switch over and hello everybody and welcome to the monthly Citrus Quest. I am your enigmatic host, Ichabod Orange. Of course, we have with us our lovely co-host, Miss Steam.
Hello.
And then, of course, today we have with us Kitsune, and we have another guest lined up whenever they decide to pop in. We're starting probably a couple of minutes early, but that's not too much. So how is everybody today? How y'all doing?
I had an emotional breakdown over absolutely nothing.
God damn it.
Oh man.
Just why? God damn it. Jesus fucking Christ. I legitimately have worries about you sometimes more.
Well, that just means you care.
You worry me, motherfucker. Well, at that end, I have to again grab the generic. I don't have an avatar, so here's a goddamn person to represent your ass.
You could use Random Fox as a stand-in.
I could, but you're supposed to pull that shit out. So I'm sure those of you have noticed the Streamlabs thing at the top and the Streamlabs down at the bottom in the description. And the reason that's there is because me and Red Fox have made ourselves a bet. And that bet is that if this tips, if this Streamlabs Gold tips, I have to go to a furry convention. So yeah, there you go. If you feel like torturing me, when you do click it, it makes a really, really loud goddamn noise, and it startles the piss out of me every time with all the tests I ran through. And now we have our other guest, ladies and gentlemen. May I introduce to you Otter Jesus?
Hello.
Orange juice.
Orange juice. Damn, OJ bullshit.
I didn't kill that woman. She died on her own. I'm innocent, but if I did do it, this is how I would do it. White Bronco! Okay, thanks enough of that.
Yeah. So welcome, Otter Jesus, to the program. It's nice to have you here. We've been, hoping to get some decent guests on every once in a while, and of course,
well, you're never gonna get them with people like me coming on. It's like, that's it.
Well, I consider you a decent guest.
Well, I don't.
Otter Jesus was, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. Otter Jesus was one of those people that's he was in the Gamergate people, right?
I was involved with Gamergate from sort of around the beginning, like the first month.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, let's everybody be nice and stuff. And kind of, obviously, I didn't have that huge of an influence where I was controlling everyone. But yeah. I feel like I gave this kind of thing where, like, sort of group, sort of protecting the group and stuff, where it's like, be nice to the people that support it. Until they don't, then don't be nice to them.
No, they don't. Then fuck them.
Yeah, like, I kind of think of that I encouraged something like that. I created the Gamergate Hug Patrol hashtag, and I didn't really do that much, but apparently I was pretty popular for a little while, and then as time went on, I started getting. I would get into arguments with people about, like, hypocrisy and stuff. Like, there's this guy Ralph who I kind of started making fun of because he was nonsensical and stupid and just really awful. And long story short, I upset a lot of people. Also, I ended up not having Adderall for like 3 months at one point.
Oh, wow. And
so I was on Twitter all the time upsetting people doing that. So I kind of fell out of favor completely. And yeah.
Yeah, shit happens for no reason for it to happen,
But I regret any involvement with Gamergate because I eventually found out that it really, under the surface, that it was pretty much a troll war between the goons of Something Awful and the people on 4chan and those places, and kind of most of the troll groups that seem to be from everywhere against the goons from Something Awful, because the goons from Something Awful had gotten into places of weird sort of influence. Like, one of them is that football player that he was a kicker and he wasn't very good. He supported Zoe Quinn, and all these people are just. So it's pretty much they were using this hashtag to fight each other and use other people to get involved for them without knowing really what was going on. So there were people who legitimately thought, "Oh, ethics and journalism," but that really wasn't what it was about. It was about the Something Awful people got to this point where they were on TV and stuff and being interviewed and talked about all the time, and so that everyone else was like, "Oh, we hate them," and so it's just a troll war, shadow troll war. It's really weird, but
yeah. Well, the reason I ask you about it is because, like, one of the things was I was kind of sidelined in Gamergate myself. I never got really super popular in it, but like how you used to go about doing things is how I learned that from you, like how I do it now. Like just how it's, don't be a dick unless you're forced to be kind of behavior.
Well, I kind of realize it's more important to the whole thing was people were being really awful on both sides, but the people on the one side wouldn't do anything about the people that were awful on their side. And with Gamergate, the same thing was happening. And you will have people come in and go, "Oh no, we took care of our bad people." And it's like you only took care of them when it became a really bad problem, like with Ralph or
Roguestar.
Well, I never really thought of Roguestar as that big of a problem because he never really did anything that wasn't focused on himself. And he at least released a game. I always was proud of him for releasing a game. But
I never even knew that he had actually finally got it released. I knew he'd been working on it.
He did, and it wasn't very good, apparently. I never played it, so I'm not going to say it wasn't good, but people didn't like it. But he released it, so that's good.
Well, purveyor of the furry convention.
Fox.
So, Red Fox.
Wait, is this a furry thing?
This
little bit.
I'm not a furry.
Yes,
is a furry and wanted me to go to a furry convention, so that's why there's that Streamlabs goal at the top.
Oh, okay.
I wanna see him suffer.
Don't make me do this, people.
It'll
Please.
be fun.
Fox is here.
Okay, so since you are our Citrus Quester of the Month, Otter, did you have a topic you wanted to discuss?
I kind of did, but I don't think it'll be that interesting.
Well, go on. It'll be fun. It'll make me feel confident.
I honestly don't even really want to talk about it right now anyways. I wanted to like a few days ago, but I've kind of moved past thinking about Gnosticism and its influence on politics.
Interesting.
I can kind of briefly explain it, and then you guys can say, "Hey, we could talk about that."
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, Gnosticism, if you don't know what it is, it was something was kind of building within the Rome, I think the Roman or Greek, whatever, I can't remember. I think it's Rome. The Roman Empire before Jesus became a thing where he was like, "Hey, I'm Jesus." It was based in Egyptian mythology and Roman philosophy, and I think one other thing. And then after Jesus came along and Christianity was established, it connected to Christianity until the early church fathers were like, "No, this is heresy and stupid." And it kind of faded, but it's come back throughout the centuries. And has gotten to the point where it's less about religion and it's more about this weird sort of pseudo like psychology, and then it's gotten involved in politics, like with communism and the Nazis. So yeah, the key thing that is present in modern Gnosticism is the idea that humans can save ourselves. Like in the past, it was more like salvation, like how a Christian would like believe in Jesus and they'll be saved. The Gnostics believed that you could save yourself by learning the secret knowledge that would save you. And they didn't really have any like, this is what the secret knowledge is, because it's supposed to be secret and you couldn't like tell anybody. And it, who knows what it would be. But anyways, so there with politics, you can see it especially within the progressives. You have to, like, if you learn that to accept your white privilege and or like your male privilege or whatever, then you'll kind of be saved in the sense that you will be able to help society get to a better place. And you can kind of see it within the opposite, like with the alt-right, where it's similar, and like you have to accept. I can't think straight right now about it, but that's essentially where it's gotten to, and how I see Gnosticism directly involved in politics within at least the U.S. Where it's kind of denying the self and viewing yourself as a label, where you're like, like as a black woman, this is what I have to say about this issue. Whenever somebody says that, it's like you're denying your humanity. You're just saying I am these words, and so therefore, what I have to say is more important than somebody who's not those words.
Yeah,
it's identity
the
politics.
oppression Olympics thing.
Yeah, and you see it on both sides. Like white genocide. Oh no, make more white babies. Well, just have sex with other white people then, and have babies.
Oh shit.
Yeah, well, that's not happening, which is why Toys R Us is going bankrupt.
Because of the lack of white babies?
Well, actually, no. It's because Toys R Us has been donating so much money to Planned Parenthood for like the last 20 years. Now there's like no babies. So
wait, seriously? Why would they do that? They have the Babies R Us spin-off franchise.
No shit.
Progressive company values. That's all I can guess.
They could have done like an Abortions R Us, and then you could go there to like either get an abortion or get the things you need to help you overcome the guilt of an abortion.
Okay.
So basically a liquor store with a Planned Parenthood in the back?
Yeah. Or just a liquor store. It doesn't have to have a Planned Parenthood. I mean,
no, it just needs a vacuum cleaner.
Oh,
God. Let's be honest. An abortion clinic doesn't have to be safe. Making them be safe
should be
is like really bad. It's like hurts women to make abortion clinics safe. Anyway, sorry for getting so political.
Oh no, you're fine. It might be a shit show, but we do talk about serious shit. So opinions, folks, on basically oppression Olympics and Gnosticism.
Well, it's not just oppression Olympics; it's just really identity politics, and oppression Olympics get thrown in there too. But it's more identity politics, where you're like identifying with something so much that you're denying your humanity and yourself, and you're pretty much just like an idea, and you're just so focused on that, so that you dehumanize yourself and other people, and that's how it gets so bad, where people are like saying horrible things to each other because they don't view themselves as human anymore.
So here's my hot take.
Uh-oh.
I wouldn't necessarily say that it goes to the extreme of denying humanity, but I would say that it goes to the extreme of denying reality. Now, this might get me in question or in trouble with the missus if she ever hears out about this.
Oh shit!
But I have seen this firsthand. My fiance is an intersectional feminist, and it's also a poly relationship, and everybody else in the relationship is an intersectional feminist. I'm the only one who is not.
So you're the insane one.
I've seen all of them now post like we can agree against the alt-right. We can't agree in terms of like socialism stuff. We can agree in terms of like, yeah, there is an issue with like, there are issues within the Black community with violence and crime and, single parentage and an insane abortion rate and problems with poverty and joblessness. But there's problems with that in the white communities too, especially if you're looking at the core states or down into Appalachia. Or even if you're looking into population dense areas such as Chicago, Detroit, Milwaukee, LA, the unemployment rates in these cities are through the roof. And so is the rate of poverty in these cities. And it's all the fault of the white man, according to them, even though it really isn't, because the onus isn't on some boogeyman that identity politics and seems to be putting it off as. I'd say that the onus is primarily on the self. So that's my hot take.
It wasn't very hot. It was very reasonable take.
Steam, what do you think?
Kind of forgot.
Son of a bitch. The denial of self in favor of identitarian politics with the requirement of taking your actions not only to yourself but as a collective based on labels.
You mean oppression points?
Yeah, suppression points.
Sort of.
Okay, well, what I think about oppression points, this is from my experience anyway. Usually the more oppression points you have, the more people would listen to you and all that stuff. And in a way, it is pretty dumb, but how most places act, people are more likely to listen to you and more likely to help you out if they think you're absolutely hopeless in society completely. So people feel sorry for you, are more inclined to be on your side even if they don't agree with you, and all that stuff, and they end up lying about their oppression points in order to climb the what's it called, social ladder. So it works, unfortunately, but it is a disgusting act that, shouldn't be, but it just does.
Yeah. A&W in the chat says, tell her as a white boy living in the ghetto that she is dead wrong about white privilege. So, yeah, there's a thing. Kit, any opinion on this identitarian politics thing?
Collectivism bad, individualism good.
Okay, then.
Pretty basic, but
here's my take on the concept. When you stop doing things for yourself and begin doing things for a collective, you're doing something against your nature. Humans are basically selfish beings. We have the capacity for great good, but more often than not, we're going to do the selfish thing that's going to benefit us some way in the future. That's just natural. So this idea of going against it, it's the same fucking beef I have with vegans. It's you're spitting in the face of nature because my feelings, and I don't like it. It don't make no goddamn sense.
You are not going to like my topic.
Oh, great.
To be fair, not all vegans do it because of dumb reasons. Some of them are just like, hey, it's good for me. It helps me because I have medical issues.
Oh, yeah, no.
To be fair to vegans.
The original reason why it exists in the first place because it was a diet for people who were allergic to animal products.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah. So this should never been a trend because the people who it didn't even have a name, the people who were on this diet because they're allergic to animal products, they say, yeah, don't go on this diet. We have to take so many fucking pills, iron pills and all that stuff to be able to live a normal life.
Yeah, but the eco-terrorists think they'll win if they make everybody vegan. But going back to that whole argument with collectivism and identity politics, apparently veganism as a movement, which isn't, specifically the medical diet,
Yeah.
was started in the inner cities by Black and Latino people. So blank all the fake white vegans out there appropriating all of the food.
Mr. Chief from the chat, what nowadays is called social justice is just social conscience brought up by the overthinking of first world problems by the people higher in the social ladder. There's a reason this is not so prevalent in other places of the world. Rage Against the Machine turned into a social movement. And from Total Madness, vegans are an abomination. God damn it, Total Madness. But yeah.
I think I'm the worst nightmare for vegans. Because they go, oh yeah, your diet helps. Oh yeah, the diet can apply to everyone. And it's like, it doesn't apply to me. It doesn't apply to Cognitive Thought. It doesn't apply to Cognitive Thought's brother. And they go like, oh, but you can do this if you have mushrooms and nuts. And
oh God!
I'm allergic to the nuts, and I'm allergic to mushrooms.
I love mushrooms.
I hate them. I hate them so much. I almost wish I was allergic to them, so I had an excuse not to eat them.
One of my good friends is allergic to most vegetables and wheat and gluten, so he can't ever be vegan. His diet is pretty much meat and fish.
My brother-in-law used to eat a lot of different kinds of fruit, and then a few years ago, he suddenly became allergic to all his favorite fruit.
Is that why you ended up a little fruity there, Kit?
Yeah, I kind of had a similar thing. I was mostly fed nothing but red meat all my life, and now I've grew kind of a intolerance allergy thing to red meat. Just red meat though, for some reason.
Yeah, it's
weird.
Shit happens.
And mushrooms. I'm allergic to mushrooms too.
So who else was kind enough to actually bring a fucking topic? Unless you want to discuss the identitarian thing a little more.
We can keep discussing the identitarian thing a little bit more if you want to.
Well, I was asking Otter because it's his topic. If he feels successfully concluded with it, we can move on.
Well, it's interesting because there's this guy. His name's like Eric Voegelin. Mm-hmm. He escaped Nazi Germany, and he kind of is the person who kind of started the idea of political religions. Mm-hmm. Where after Nietzsche killed God, he's like, okay, God's dead. Now what's going to be your religions? And so it's like, my religion will be communism. My religion will be Nazis, whatever. This Eric Voegelin guy like established that idea and saw it as being a direct connection to Gnosticism that the early church dealt with. And I'm kind of just it's like explaining sort of history and stuff, but yeah, if you really look into it, it makes a lot of sense that this whole idea of denying, like one of you said earlier, like reality, denying reality is also denying the self, because you exist in reality. If you're going to just act like the only thing that's really you is a consciousness, that's exactly what the Gnostics believed like 2,000 years ago. That's what they were teaching. It's like the body is evil. It's sinful. If you get rid of it, then you'll save yourself, and you'll be off in this new non-physical realm of ideas and knowledge and stuff. And I can see that in all this identity politics, where it's like I'm not me. I'm this identity. I'm a white person, whatever that is. And white people need their own culture, whatever that will be. It's like black people saying they have their own culture. What culture? They have the black culture within the U.S., but it's not black culture everywhere. I mean,
culture
genocide in Rwanda.
I don't understand that, because culture doesn't mean your skin color. Culture means like where about in the country you more or less born or grew up in.
Exactly.
So race has got nothing to do with culture.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem, is that people have started viewing race as what makes them a person. Like, this is me. And race is not actually something that you can find in nature necessarily. And by that I mean you can't find like different animals going like, oh, this is my race, and so I'm not going to associate with this other race. And even though they're the same type of animal, they're just like different colored,
like subspecies
animals.
and shit.
Yeah, like you don't see dogs that are like white going over and like, hey, get out of here, black dog, and then bark at the black dog.
Chihuahua don't care if the Great Dane's in heat. Chihuahua's still gonna try and bone it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Dog's still gonna try to fuck the other dog. It don't matter if it's a Great Dane or a fucking wolf in the night.
You have my interest.
God damn it, kid. No. No furry shit. I swear to God.
Uh-oh.
This is why I have the lucky no touchy rule with him.
I'm a very talented masseur.
No, we're not getting into that. We're talking about identitarian politics, motherfuckers.
Also, the word is masseuse.
God
No,
damn it!
It's only masseuse if you're a girl.
I swear to God, I will beat the both of you with a rubber hose. Moving on.
Actually, I'd be down for that.
Beat us with a different
Ew!
a different hose.
Guys, seriously.
No, it's fine.
Relax.
It's really dirty.
I'm off.
I just want to like establish if I'm on a really dirty stream or not.
It can be.
Potentially.
Just wait for the end game that we play, and then you will know exactly how awful our stream gets. Speak of the devil, people of the chat, do not forget to have your would you rather or $1 million butt questions ready for each individual person in our stream right now. We have Otter Jesus, Kit, which Miss Steam, Red Fox, and myself, Ichabod. We're all ready for the shit.
I have $1 million butt.
Okay, yeah. Thanks, Kit. All right. Moving on. Just because I God damn it. So it seems like we're all basically in agreement. Like the concept is mainly denying reality.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna sit there and say, "Oh, my culture is black culture," which fucking country? Countries have culture, not races. Yet, little sons of bitches.
And then which region? What?
Which region of that country too?
Like which area? Like is it? What's the place where it flooded and then everyone ran to the Thunderdome? They're like, "Oh, we're black and we're in the Thunderdome," and the football players are like, "No."
Fucking what was that? New Orleans?
Yeah.
Oh.
I hope people enjoyed me trying to explain all that, because eventually making it sound dumb.
If there's like siblings, one say the girl is white but her brother is black, does that mean her brother has culture, and does that mean the boy has the culture and the girl doesn't, even though they're directly related?
It means that the mom had some fun with the milkman.
Uh-oh.
It
There's
also
no such
depends
thing as
on,
milkmen. They were just having an affair.
well, it also depends on whether or not the brother was raised by which father or whatever is going on with that family situation. So
Well,
it's a weird whole mess.
I was mostly just like basing it off me, but but you know what I mean, like, yeah. Like they're talking about if you're black you have a culture, if you're white you don't have a culture, but there's brothers and sisters out there that contradicts that whole fucking argument.
Mm.
That makes sense.
Well, like there's examples of people who, like, for example, Vin Diesel. He apparently made a movie. I never watched it because it didn't sound that interesting. A movie called, I think, Multifacial, which sounds like pornography.
Oh yeah, that sounds like hardcore gay
But
porn.
it was about sort of his struggle with, I think, with the fact that he's like half black and half white or something, and he kind of, if he grows his hair out, he looks black, but if he doesn't, he looks sort of white or not. Anyways, so there's people that.
Sorry, I was just saying he's got one of those skin colors that's like it depends on
vaguely ethnic.
Yeah. Well, he can be ethnic if he wants. No, but there are people like him who struggle with the whole what culture they identify with. But that's the problem, is that they should just be identifying with the culture that they're living in, not based on your skin color. And too many people from both sides of the political spectrum focus so much on all that. And that's why we're in such a horrible position at the moment, where people are just nobody actually seems to talk to individuals anymore in the political arena. They're talking to this is your idea. Your idea is ban guns, so I'm talking to the ban gun thing. I'm not talking to you as a person. I'm talking to the ban gun people, the ban gun label, or then there's the pro gun people. It's like, oh, you're a pro gun, and I'm not going to view you as a human because you're pro gun. Or you could do it with race and stuff, where they're always doing that back and forth. And there are people in those conversations, but they're not viewing each other as people. They're not even really arguing. They're just saying your idea is bad.
I think the best political debates I've had in live streams is probably art streams, because you talk about anything on there and people don't usually mind. And when you go on these art streams, people are so laid back. They sometimes talk about their own political opinions, and no one really reads at each other or anything like that, because it's supposed to be a chilled back live stream. It's not supposed to be a massive debate thing. So you actually get a nice debate with someone because it's not massively serious. That makes sense.
I'll fucking re-at you if I want to re-at you.
I will I don't want to read right now because my voice is kind of croaky.
And you people wonder why I don't invite you to live streams that are not political.
This is technically not a political show. We just discuss whatever the fuck our guests want to talk about.
Well, I wasn't. What I wanted to talk about wasn't technically political. It was mostly just sort of explaining where this whole awfulness in politics is coming from. And I personally, and there are other people who believe that it's coming from an ancient Christian heresy.
Okay.
See, y'all want crusades because this is how you get crusades.
No, was what gave us the crusades, because the Catholic Church is like, no, we're going to be Gnostic about all this and say it's okay for the local governments to kill people in our name. Also the Muslims.
I think they still kind of keep that going, though, now, don't they?
Yeah. Not really.
Don't worry, World War III will come soon.
All right, so I guess it's Kit's turn on topic. Oh God.
God. Sudden anxiety. Okay. I guess the process of writing fiction.
What about it?
Well, oh God, where to even begin? There's a million different things you could talk about. You could talk about theme or...
Okay, well, fucking pick one.
Okay.
See, you fucking done this to yourself. You were supposed to have a topic ready.
I did, but then I panicked because I'm an anxious person.
We'll come back to you.
I found out how I was going to say it and everything.
All right. We'll come back to you. Steam, your topic.
Creating a character. Fuck it, I'll go after Steam.
Do you want I got two topics, but I want you to choose one though. Do you want to talk about this comic called Kim and Kim, or do you want to talk about hatred of veganism is rooted in toxic masculinity?
Oh God, a continuation of the last stream I was in. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to talk about toxic masculinity versus veganism, or do you want to talk about a comic called what was it again?
Kim and Kim. They're in a alternate world where LGBT is normal. One Kim is bisexual and another Kim is transgender. And the person who made this comic works in Marvel.
I don't want to talk about either of those.
No, right?
No, that's just like both of those sound so sad.
I'm too tired.
As an LGBT person, I don't know. Kim and Kim sounds interesting, but at the same time, it's like,
Really
why?
bad.
It's not
really
obviously
bad.
a Marvel published comic, though. It's just somebody who works at Marvel. They are doing their own comic.
All right. Well, let's take this this decision to the chat. 1 for vegans versus men. 2 for LGBT cancer. Do I need to pull up the timer for this?
I don't know.
Is it still delayed even though they updated it? To do the thing where it's like recorded?
It's got a little bit of a delay, but not too much. 1.
Because it's always been like that. I thought they may have been making it so that there wasn't a delay in the chat. But...
Oh. All right. Well, we're gonna put 30 seconds on the timer.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Seems like we have got. Oh God! Even Otter Jesus voted for 2. Looks like we're going with LGBT cancer. All right.
No, I didn't vote. I just said I didn't know what they were what they were saying 2 for.
Oh, it's 1 or 2 for picking the topic. All right. You can drop me the link to this comic, and I will fucking pull it up.
All right, give me a minute, because my laptop is frozen.
God damn it!
I'm pulling it
Not
up.
my fault. Not my fault. All right.
While we're doing that, what the hell exactly is your topic supposed to be about there, Red? Because all I saw was a goddamn furry picture, and goddamn it.
Well, option 1 is tiger daddies. Option 2 is dogs being adorable, and why they're so adorable.
I vote tiger daddies.
We might go with the second one on that because tiger daddies sounds like a specialized stream entirely based on fucking furries, and I don't know if I want to put poor Otter Jesus yet.
I vote tiger daddies.
Okay, I got it now. Sorry about
Tiger
that.
daddy. Huh?
Got it now. Sorry about that. All right, let me just get this in the side chat.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. The Chrome froze on me, basically.
No, it does happen. Oh God, what the fuck am I looking at?
Okay, just a little bit of context. One Kim is transgender, one Kim is bi, and I don't think they brought this up because I didn't read the entire thing, but there is a theme of all of the enemies tend to be straight white men.
That's not
Just
really
like
That's predictable at all. Okay. So
Arstan is boring and bad. Noses don't actually look like that. Hair is impossible. They have good boobs though.
okay.
yeah, the comic artist is actually pretty lazy. Sometimes she doesn't even.
Oh, really? You thought this idea came from the mind of someone who wasn't lazy?
Anyway. Debuting in July from Black Mark Studios, Kim and Kim is a rollicking science fiction adventure comic about 2 young queer women working as dimension-hopping interplanetary bounty hunters. It's written by Magdalene Vizaggio, drawn by Eve Cabera, and colored by Claudia Aguera. And it promises to be one of the breakout debuts of 2016. Since I've never heard of it, I'm pretty sure that's wrong.
Okay, so by the way, the writer is apparently transgender, but has been transgender for 10 years and hasn't, gone into therapy or even checked.
Settings, character building on that whole messy queer representation thing. Comics Alliance states Eva Cabrera's art is so charming and perfect for the book, and Claudia Aguirre's colors bring a lot to the table as well. Is this your first work with them? How did you find each other? Actually, I met through Tess Fowler when we were looking for a permanent artist for the book. We made a big list of names. Mostly, we were looking for published female artists because we have to have a little bit of legitimacy going through the process.
Specifically female artists.
Did the Braga special for the book that shall not be named, another thing I haven't fucking heard of. So I drove through a line on the off chance that you might be interested. Just keep in mind, this is the fucking art that they found so goddamn charming. It looks like
ugly
on the page, man.
It doesn't look that bad to me.
It's like a bad Steven Universe knockoff from Tumblr.
It does look like Steven Universe.
There's something very wrong with the eyes. I find it deeply unsettling.
You keep in mind he's a professional comic artist, and it looks like something from DeviantArt.
Some of the perspective looks a bit wonky too in places.
Yeah.
And the anatomy is passable, but
barely.
it isn't. Look at that one chick's arms. They're the wrong shape.
Yeah, there's some.
Oh, the one where they literally just drew an hourglass and put legs at the bottom and arms off the side and head on top, right up on the header. Oh, it's bad.
It looks a lot better than Greg Land or Rob Liefeld.
Yeah, it's better than a fucking Sonic Chew comment, but that doesn't make it good.
Hey, don't go to Sonic Chew after I mentioned Greg Land and Rob Liefeld. Sonic Chew is much better than them.
It's like we're going to have to steal just to get off clothes. God knows my mom's not gonna lend me any more money. Oh, by the way, they're always broke. That's a theme in their comics.
Always broke, and yet she can maintain that hair color.
Yeah. As if let's just get some liquor and figure out what we're gonna do. You still haven't internalized exactly how little money we have. We should do something responsible with it. And then they never did anything with it again.
Something seems very wrong about their hair too. Like it's not responding to the environment properly.
That's what's bothering you. There's too much hair.
It's not that
No,
there's too
I
much
think it's the way the hair is flowing. It looks like it's not responding correctly to the air.
It flips. It's constantly flipping from side to side.
Mm.
Well, it's not just that. It's also look at the consistency.
Yeah.
The consistency is changing in just 3 panels. It's like you're a professional
belly.
You're supposed to, know this shit.
I've actually seen a couple of things that were inconsistent on purpose. Like one of the characters' hair would get bigger and bigger in every panel they were in until it was 8 times bigger than their head.
Because that looks so much worse.
It does look really bad.
I honestly think it doesn't look that bad. I think you guys are kind of just being hypercritical. That's fine. No judgment.
No, but
well, I am pretty judgmental. Those motion lines are way too.
One person at a goddamn time. Do not make me whomp you. Shut up, Kit.
My apologies.
You see what I mean? Like this character, they look like they're supposed to be the same character, but that doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's another like 5 or 6 inches of hair between that and that. That throws me off. But it's just I don't know, man.
I think her hair is parting in a slightly different place each time.
Her hair is the same. It's mirrored in each panel that she's in. So it goes off to the right in one panel, and then it goes off to the left in another. And it's like when you're designing a character with that sort of hair, then you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah,
I had to do that with designing my character, who I draw pretty freaking often because that's what I do.
Yeah,
I also have to remember, Bane's on the left. They cover the left side of the face.
The way I figure it, like, it looks like something that it could be interesting, but not interesting enough for me to drop money on it to read it.
Apparently, the author, Visago or whatever, last year in March, they got fired, and then they were like, comics don't pay well, and then they set up a GoFundMe so people could send them money.
Okay.
Well, it's true. Comics don't pay well. No one actually makes money in the comics unless they have like an actual job within the a comic book company, or there's somebody like Mike Mignola that basically can just print money.
So I know it sounds like I'm being hypercritical about her artwork, but it's just it's. Thing is, I'm an artist myself, so the fact that like a couple of non-artists are seeing these flaws, it means you're kind of fucking up as a comic book artist.
Yeah, it's professional bias.
The only person I've ever seen do art in a comic that every single panel looked perfect was John Cassaday, and he takes forever to do the art, so it delays things for like years.
Oh no, you don't have to be perfect.
I know what you're saying, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be like the opposite of hypercritical. I'm trying to be like hyper understanding to balance it out.
Do what of man.
But yeah, I think there are some panels in comics that are done by artists that are really good, and they're bad. They're very bad, but they had to get it done because they had a limited amount of time. You can't spend forever, and some artists are not as good as other artists. That's fine. So yeah, it's like if people don't like some of the art, that's fine. It's not a big deal, because as long as the writing's good, that's where you really have to focus in a comic. If the writing's bad, then it's bad and trash, and we can make fun of it.
Yeah.
Which is why comics like Associated Student Bodies are just horrible.
Reading those comics, she had this writer had a problem of, she would start with one story, and then all of a sudden it would just change to another story, and there is no in between. It's just something's there. It's very jarring. So for instance, there would be like an action scene, and then the action scene would never finish, sort of thing. It would just cut out, and they would just say, "Oh yeah, this happened," and it's like, wait, what? Like, it's so jarring and all that stuff. So every chance it could have got interesting, it got ruined by this jarring moment of just cutting to a completely different scene that's more or less unrelated and is a lot less interesting than the first scene. That makes sense.
From the chat, Motron says, that's not hair color, that's blood. And again comes in and says she has wandering hair syndrome.
Speaking of what Steve just said, I found a copy of it, and I just opened up the first page of the first issue, and it has that issue on the first page of the first issue. This isn't shaping up well.
No.
Maybe problems in the future.
Wait, you're talking about the hair being crazy?
No, just with the inconsistencies in the storytelling and the action. Like, it starts off in an action scene with no context at all. And
well, that's not a problem.
This guy gets shot, but it's like, it's just, where does this come from? It's like,
and jarring is what I've been gathering, at least so far.
Someone brought up Associated Student Bodies. I don't remember very well, but I think I read at least some of that at some point. But I don't remember it well enough to know if it was any good.
You don't remember it, it wasn't good.
I guess.
All right, so I think we've as much as I hate to say it, I think this topic's more or less done to death. Unless you want to get in.
I want to say something really quick though. I think that it's good that the person is creating their own thing instead of trying to force Captain America to be trans.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I wish people would do that more instead of like do their own comics and stuff, and then go get fired and end up homeless. Then trying to make Marvel Comics more inclusive by making it really offensive to everyone, even the people they're trying to make feel comfortable. But yeah.
So
because the people they're pandering to don't have any interest in comics, the sales tank.
I wouldn't have a problem with this comic if it didn't win an award.
It won a GLAAD award, didn't it?
Yeah, it won.
That's not an award.
What?
Burn.
That doesn't fucking count.
Like, I'm sorry, that's just not an award. Like winning a GLAAD award.
Of course, she's a bassist too. God damn it.
So here's the thing about this. Maggie, because I don't want to try and fucking say Magdalene too many goddamn times. Maggie, here's the deal. It's good that you're making something. It's good you're making something from scratch instead of, trying to co-op something else from someone else. But have your artist improve their style, be a little more consistent, and with your storytelling, keep it. If you've lost where the plot's going, and even if you can predict what's going to happen, jump somewhere else, but don't jump so hard that you lose the reader, because your reading base is your most important base. Yes, sometimes you pander to them a little bit, but let's be fair. You're making a comic. You want that comic to succeed. The best way to do that is be unpredictable. Keep your art at least somewhat consistent. Yeah, I'm not saying you have to completely change your art direction, but just tag a little bit on those things that are like the super inconsistencies, like when somebody has what appears to be a pixie cut and then has 14-foot hair in the next can't it fucks with the reader's head.
And
eyes. One thing that I would add to that as well is keep it simple, stupid. It is a very old slogan in terms of writing. If your readers can't follow along with the story, then they're just going to get disinterested and they're going to put the book aside. That's why it takes me like 10 years to read a Harry Turtledove novel, but it takes me about 10 hours to read through a Game of Thrones. There's a difference.
Yeah, and know your audience, because marketing is also really important when you're doing something like this. Like, this was something that I had talked about on Red Here's stream. If you are doing a game like, let's say, Nintendogs, you can market that to anybody. It doesn't matter who you're marketing it to. Somebody's going to fucking buy it. But if you're doing something like Grand Theft Auto and you're only advertising it to, let's say, small little girls in South Africa who know no idea what the fuck you're talking about, you've made an error in your marketing. You fucked up somewhere.
Yeah.
I think Kim and Kim actually was nominated for an Eisner, but it didn't win. Also, it didn't even win the GLAAD award. It was just nominated. So that's even more embarrassing.
Y'all get a nomination. That's it.
Yeah.
All right, so we either got Red's topic. Kit can. I'm pretty sure we just discussed your topic while discussing about the comic.
A little bit, but we were talking more about art, I think, than we were about.
Well, it's the same.
I mean, writing came up, but it not as much. But yeah.
Well, let's pick a little more into detail about creating a character in a novelistic world.
All right. Well, when you're creating something from a new idea, you don't want... See, it's kind of a balance. You don't want to hyper-focus on the idea. I'm expressing this badly. You kind of want to be in a state of mind somewhere between... I'm sorry, I'm having a lot of trouble...
Ability and originality.
Words. It's like, well, no, it's not that. It's more like it has to develop organically. You know, you can't force it, and you can't. So an issue I have sometimes is I have too many ideas at once, and it's hard to kind of pin down on one.
You don't say.
You don't. So it's better to not really pin down on it necessarily too much, because that can hamper your flow. But if you're a little too loose, you'll never write anything. You'll be
And confuse the fuck.
stifled by indecision.
I think that's a big basis with if you're going to be creating a character in a novel, you have to keep that line between originality and predictability. Your behavior has, like, in that situation, how would a normal human being react? If somebody's coming at you with a shotgun and you've got a pocket knife, it doesn't make any sense to have that person with a pocket knife just fucking stand there. So they have to that sense. But you also have to have that originality of, let's say, that situation happens, they get into cover, the person fires the shotgun, they count the number of bullets, comes back, and shanks the guy in the lung, you know.
They raise their hands up and keep their freaking knife hidden in their palm or shirt coat or whatever the fuck. And up try and rob them, and they stab him in the fucking throat instead.
Ooh, sleight of hand.
And that's the whole thing. That's that balance between originality and predictability. Your character has to recognize that it's a dangerous situation. Unless you're writing a super powered fucking Superman, and then fuck it.
Oh yeah.
And then you have to create big villains that are
brilliant. I mean,
impossible.
It can work. You can have an overpowered character and make it work, but
no, you can't. It's
you need
impossible.
It doesn't work in a book, though.
The Sentry was terrible.
All right, dude. In theory, it can work, but it takes.
Yeah.
It's. But what you wouldn't really ever have tension, so it would need to be quite different from. It kind of depends on the genre. It can work quite well in comedy, for instance, or it can work in.
For fuck's sake, hang on.
Okay.
It works in certain mediums. It doesn't work in like a novel because it's that old adage of show don't tell.
Yeah.
Like you can have a super overpowered character in like an anime or like a movie or a comic book, but it doesn't work if you transfer it over into a book. Nobody's going to read a book about the life and times of Superman if there ain't no pretty fucking pictures. I'm sorry.
I think they would. It just has to be well written.
Yeah, I think
If
it's descriptive enough, it could work. You know,
Star Wars books also. There's some people out there who, you know, who can be pretty easily pleased. I mean, look at Kristen Weston Chandler.
It's also quite important that the character has something about them that's relatable, and you can't really relate to them if they're an overpowered god, but if they have some kind of flaw or hubris, or maybe they're bored, you know,
they need like
things you can do. Yeah, they need something.
I wonder why people don't like Rey from the new Star Wars movies.
Fucking Christ.
Well, yeah, Mary Sue's and
I hate that goddamn sound already.
Stews. That's a thing.
So fucking
I don't know
loud.
what you guys are talking about. There's no such thing. What new Star Wars movie? They're making a new Star Wars movie?
No.
Like,
Well,
how
I mean,
many
there was
They haven't
one,
made
but-
a new one in 40 years.
No.
As a side
Those
note, we
videos
got a
are okay.
donation.
Whenever it was.
Woo! Donation.
Oh, you got
Yes,
$5.
we got a donation from hang on, I gotta fucking find it. From Spudwick McGroin, and his message was surprise, motherfucker. Thank you, Spudwick. It's always great. It'll be good to have you on again sometime. It'd be fucking fun. Jesus
Also,
Christ, I hate
if
how
the
that
goal-
fucking pops up out of nowhere.
If the goal is reached, have we covered that at all on this yet?
We are 0.17% of the way to the goal.
Yeah,
no
but
shit.
let's go over what the goal is and what that means.
Yes, good.
If I have to go to this fucking furry convention. That's the goal.
And then you have to bring sarin gas.
No, there will be no gassing of First Squared. That is my convention. That is or not my convention. It's my local convention and my homies. And there will be no gassing
like,
at my local convention.
Like gas that doesn't kill people.
No,
and then say it's sarin gas.
no,
And then see all the furries run.
no.
My brother dragged me to furry cons. They're not very bad. Just stay away
they're
from
fun.
the extreme people, and you'll be fine.
Do they have a ball pit?
Avoid the yiffers unless you're into that kind of thing. In which
Okay,
case,
okay,
seek
okay.
the
What,
yiffers.
what, Otter? Sorry.
I just said the ball pit.
Uh-huh.
No ball.
Don't piss in the ball pit, yes.
Don't go in the ball pit.
Yeah, don't go in the ball pit because somebody already pissed in it.
Somebody's
if only
pissing
for
in
the
it
meme.
right now.
Jesus Christ, it's not DashCon.
I wanted to go to that, but I want to go I want to go to that. I mean, and that I would go back in time to see it. I think that's when most time travelers they'll go then to that place, DashCon, just to see it.
They'll go to DashCon and Fire Festival.
And then they'll go to the Holocaust and see that.
Yeah, and most people are not. Their first idea is not going to go back to like the Holocaust and prevent Hitler from causing the Holocaust. No, they're going back to something completely and utterly stupid in their own lives. It makes no goddamn sense.
Okay. I just think they'd want to go to DashCon and then the Holocaust, and then they'd break the time machine.
They might go.
Time and just.
It's like
just
this
go
is
back
a
in
bad
time.
idea. I saw the Holocaust twice. What?
Jesus.
If you make an intentional choice, then that causes a paradox because you wouldn't travel back in time to change something that was already changed.
Let's not
But
get
you can
into
change
theoretical.
things by accident.
Okay,
Unless the
let's
things which
not.
once changed make it impossible for you to do the time travel thing, either because you no longer exist or the time machine doesn't.
Okay, Kit, by that entire statement, it's already decided that if time travel does exist anywhere in the future, nobody fucked with the past.
Probably.
Because we are all currently here under the current circumstances that we're currently dealing with. It would be a paradox if any other thing happened. So just give up on time travel for now.
Not necessarily. 'Cause
Maybe
the
time
things-
tourism.
Someone
multiverse
could have
theory.
gone back in time and triggered something accidentally and made a new timeline, and then we're living in that timeline without knowing it.
Yeah, but then it's multiverse theory, and do we really have fucking time for multiverse theory?
No, we
Doesn't
don't, because
have
that
to be.
takes like 20
Could
minutes
be.
to establish.
All right, so Red, why don't we go ahead and move on to your, and I say this very, very vaguely, topic.
Just Tiger Daddies or whatever.
I don't know. I want a dog. Again, I miss having a dog. Why do people like dogs so much? That's my topic.
Oh, I wanted the topic to be Tiger Daddies.
No tiger daddies. Well, I think it's basically the concept of companionship. Some people will live their entire lives without a real companion, so they get a fucking dog. And then over time, it's just kind of been ingrained into our personalities that dogs are a good thing.
I don't like
I could be
dogs.
fucking wrong.
I grew up with dogs. I like dogs.
Otter, what do you think about dogs?
I love my dog. My dog's name's Spore. He's a sweet pie, and I'll kiss him.
Aww. He
His
sounds
actual full name is Hyperborean, but that's harder to say
Ooh.
all the time.
I find dogs irritating and boring.
Bitch, get out.
All right. So now that we've effectively instantly talked about that topic, I will bring up my topic. Yay! Everybody ready for my topic?
Yes.
My body is ready.
A Romanian court has rejected a man's claim that he's very much alive because he showed up too late to court. The 60-year-old lost contact with his family in 1992. When the man's papers expired, he was deported back to Romania this year, where he learned he was registered as dead. The court ruling is now considered final.
What?
Bureaucracy 100%.
You see, this is why, well, it's one of countless reasons why, but this is a very small part, granted, but part of the reason why government just doesn't work. Ever.
The European government doesn't work.
No government is ever justified.
So this brings up the concept of, have we gone too far with fucking bureaucracy at this point?
Yes.
Any bureaucracy is too much bureaucracy.
Kit?
Kit's an anarchist, by the way.
I'm an anarcho-capitalist.
That makes sense.
We will never get along.
I swear to God, if
Could. We just
start telling
might
me
have to avoid talking about economics to do so.
put my foot so far up your ass, the fucking water on my knee will quench your thirst.
What?
That sounds wonderful.
Water on your knee? That makes me think of this Lucille Ball thing where she's like pretending to be the dummy, like the thing that the people talk through, the ventriloquist thing. She's like the dummy, and she's sitting on a guy's knee and says something about, is there water on your knee too? That's weird. I like Lucille Ball. She's awesome.
I don't think I want someone else's foot to come out of my mouth.
Well, yeah, then fucking don't pull the Jay shit. I have enough times where I have to listen to Jay tell me about how anarcho-capitalism is actually just a Christian ideal that leads back to fucking something about Jesus. I fucking don't know, man.
I'm a lot less aggressive about it than he is.
But anarcho-capitalist spiders go to Jesus?
Yes.
Like all of the ideals are apparently the same ideals that Jesus had, and I'm just sitting there like, what?
Yeah, Jay is interesting to say the least.
At some point, we will have to have a an after dark where I can get Otter Jesus in again, have him just shoot the shit with Jay, because I think that'd be real fucking interesting
I
conversation.
actually find it kind of hilarious that that Jay's ideology confuses a fucking minister.
Don't fucking judge me. It doesn't make sense.
I think I don't think his position is like that. I think when he says that it's, quote, a very Christian idea or whatever, I don't think he isn't saying like you need Christianity to get there. He's just expressing himself poorly and trying to say like it lines up fairly well with those ideals or whatever from his interpretation.
We'll tell Jay that, kid. You tell Jay that, and we'll see how well that works.
He told me that kind of in different words.
Kind of. That's the problem.
We have a really difficult time communicating. I think most of the time we agree, but we end up disagreeing because our minds work in such different ways. It's hard to. We keep getting across each other.
I hear you guys talk a lot. Yeah, I can see there's a kind of like, even though you speak the same language, I can see there's kind of a
language barrier.
In that autism, that's just.
We have reached the portion of the show that everybody's been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, in our stream today we have Otter Jesus, Kitsune, Missteam, Red Fox, and of course myself. It is time for you to put in your would you rather or $1 million butt questions. However, let's do our usual thing of, ladies and gentlemen, in the stream with today. Do you want to have a person from the stream ask your questions, or do you want to take it to the chat?
Can I have both?
I am confused.
At the end of the stream, we have a short segment where people either in the chat or in the stream will ask a question of $1 million, but, and then they give a circumstance, or two circumstances, and would you rather one or the other. You're free to elaborate on the questions themselves or your answer further, but basically, right now we're asking, would you rather take a question from the chat? Would you rather take a question from one of the presenters in the stream today?
¿Por qué no los dos?
I will take a question from the panel.
Red sticking with the panel. Miss Steam, what do you think?
I'll take it in the chat. I know
Steve's
exactly
take-
what the
Kit,
question
take
is.
the chat.
I
Otter?
have one of each.
Yeah, I want both too. Because I still don't exactly understand what's going on, but that's just me. So don't try to explain.
For Kit and Otter, I will ask each of you one of the questions, and as always, I take it to the chat. And then, if you are still comfortable with the concept of taking one of the questions from the chat, you're more than willing to do so. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the chat, we're going to put 30 seconds on the timer once again, and you ask your questions now. All right, and we've got some questions in the side chat here for now, but we're going to go ahead and start with the presenter questions just so we can get it out of the way. So let's go ahead and start with Kit, just so Otter gets a better idea of what exactly we're doing here. Kit, $1 million, but you have to blow 7 Chinese men every day for the rest of your life.
Wait, what's the downside?
Their age varies between 18 and 97.
I don't care.
Kit's going to take the money on that one. Fucking right.
Wait, say that question again. I was confused by it. I was like, wait, just take the money because there's no question.
It was $1 million, but you have to blow 7 Chinese men every day for the rest of your life.
I thought it was or, and I was like, what?
No, it's but.
How is that even a question? Oh, I'm sorry.
And Otter, your question from the panel will be: would you rather, one, receive $10 for every forceful blowjob you give on a death row inmate, or receive $100 to fire a flare gun into their brain?
Death row inmate?
Yes, in both situations, they're death row inmates.
Wait, what? Okay, so the second one, I would be killing them.
Yes, with a flare gun.
I don't understand how there would be a downside. No,
That sounds so much fun.
I'm just. Would I be murdering them, or would I be just putting them to death legally?
You would be state sanctioned to fire the flare gun into their head, but you have to stay in the room until flare dissipates.
Wait, so it would be going inside their head or at their head?
Inside their head.
How?
You're basically setting them on fire with a flare.
I'd be shooting it in their mouth?
Yes, you're firing it into the mouth and up into the brain, but it
That's
is
not possible.
down,
I don't think a flare would penetrate like that.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
flare would just like burn their mouth.
well,
And
yeah,
then
but
they'd be really angry.
well, no, they're tied down.
Okay, you're shooting them in the head with a white phosphorus round.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds wonderful.
So I can either get $10 for giving them a forceful blowjob. I would be raping them.
Well, no, not that kind of force. Just like an angry blowjob, like with some teeth and shit.
Oh,
I'm the one angry, and they're not doing anything to me.
I'm gonna do both and get $110.
Not your
So-
question, man.
Like I'm being really autistic about this and trying to figure out how it makes any sense. So I would be giving a death row inmate a very uncomfortable blowjob, like I'm hurting them, and then I'd be getting $10 for it.
Yes. or you can take the $100 to be the one to put him to death.
Putting them to death, I guess, with a flare gun.
Otter's gonna take the stanky death. All right, so let's head over to the chat and see what else we've got in here. We have question for me: $1 million, but you have to go to 300 furry conventions. I'll take the money, I guess.
Yay!
We'll make a
You can have the fur cons.
Question for Steve: $1 million, but every time you blink, you have to swat away invisible bees.
I got a what?
You have to swat at invisible bees. There's no actual bees there. You're just acting like, no, there's bees.
No.
Steam ain't taking the money. Another one for Steam: $1 million, but you have to ditch steampunk for My Little Pony.
Okay, fuck no.
She ain't taking the money. Here's one for Red: $1 million, but you have to read Kim and Kim every day for 10 years.
Knowing my fiance, I probably will have to anyway, so I'll take the money.
You poor thing.
Are you sure you want to marry him?
Yes, I'm sure I want to marry her.
Whatever.
Or put the blame while guilty without choice.
Who is that for?
That one is for Kit. Would you rather take the blame while being innocent by choice, or point blame while guilty without choice?
I don't understand.
Would you rather take the blame for somebody, or would you point the blame
That's
at somebody
really
else?
stupid question. I'm very much self-preservationist, and it sounds like it could be anyone. Why not frame a stranger if it gets me off scot-free? I don't care if it's unethical.
Kit's gonna point the finger.
Would he
from
know?
Mystique.
Would he know if the person that he's blaming isn't actually guilty, or could he just like accidentally get them?
Well, in this scenario, I'm guilty.
Yeah, they are
Oh.
guilty of crime, so you're pointing the finger at somebody else to have suspicion elsewhere.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure as hell not taking the blame for something I didn't do.
Here's another one from Miss Steam. Would you rather go to a free convention with me or an Antifa rally back home?
I was going to go furry convention with you because I'm used to going furry conventions with my brother. I'm not a furry, I just, and European Antifa are willing to kill people. So, they're not like American Antifa. American Antifa are pussies.
Mm.
Okay, here's one for
Very
Otter.
friendly.
$1 million, but you have to wear Wellington boots filled with porridge at all times for the rest of your life.
All times, even like so, I could never be barefoot.
Apparently not.
Well, you'd have to wear it in the shower and while sleeping, and how would you change clothes?
What if I'm upside down? Then the porridge would come out all over my body.
Aw.
What happens if the porridge gets emptied? When is it refilled?
Is it tasty porridge?
The porridge?
Yeah, is it good, yummy, tasty porridge?
No, it's fucked porridge.
Good porridge or bad porridge? They're game mode.
No, my feet would be in it. So yeah, no. Sure.
When would the porridge go off, though? It can't last forever. It would start to go moldy.
I'll take the money because I could use that money to somehow make it so that I wouldn't have to wear them. I could just like cut my feet off and replace my feet with new feet.
Well, they're Wellingtons, so you'd have to cut off your entire lower leg.
Well, that's fine. I just replace them with some other person, like maybe a black person.
Or
All right.
robot legs.
Question for Red Fox: $1 million, but you have JF's anchor baby.
That's a tough one. Wait, JF or J?
JF.
Do I have to stay with JF? Or do
You
I
have to have
or do I get to keep custody of the kid?
He would have to have custody for to remain in his name. I would not necessarily have to stay with him.
Okay, so shared custody. Yeah, $1 million, but I have to have a kid with JF. I'll have a kid with JF.
Red's going to take
As
the money.
horrible as that is.
All right. Here's the panel question for the evening. Each of you will be have a time to answer this and ask questions if you like. Would you rather spend an hour on a live stream with Jim, that's Mr. Medicare, or have a long and very angry sexual session with Sargon of Akkad where you are both the bottom and the top?
That's not even possible.
That sounds like fun. I don't know why.
Wait, like flip
Honestly, he has
flopping
a
or
nice
something?
voice.
Yeah, like switching out once
Oh.
one of you
Oh,
go.
fun.
Well, he has a vagina, so it wouldn't really work.
Rage fucking is fun.
Wear a strap on.
No, there's no strap-ons allowed for him.
It's got to be the bottom and the top, or an hour-long conversation with Medicare.
Would it be Medicare trying to like make people think you're stupid, or just you talking to him like casually?
It's him.
Well,
Let's be fair. It's Jim. We know what he's gonna do.
Yeah, I'll take the Sargon orgy.
Yeah.
orgy. It's just you
It's
and
just-
him.
Yeah. But the rage fucking does sound fun.
Red's gonna take the Sargon of Akkad.
So will Kit, for the record.
Kit's gonna take some cock gone of Akkad. What about you, Steam?
I don't know Mr. Medica, so I guess I'll talk to Mr. Medica.
Steam's gonna take the Medicare beat down. What about you,
I mean,
OJ?
sorry.
What about me?
Passionate, flip-flopping sex with Sargon, or an hour-long conversation with Jim? With Jim.
Well, would I be married to Sargon in this?
No, you'd just be having just like.
Well, then I couldn't have sex with him because I don't believe in sex without marriage.
Well, I'm just saying it's not necessary.
No,
I mean,
I'm talking about me and my personal stuff.
so you take the conversation with Jim.
Well, am I married to him? No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, I just do that. What's gonna happen?
Otter would take a conversation with Jim, and strangely enough, since I seem to be the outlier in this, I would take the conversation too, just because. Let's be fair. What's he gonna call me on?
Yeah, I don't know Mr. Medica, but like, to be honest, it can't be worse than talking to pedophiles and doxers and scammers. I mean, I've already done that. Might as well talk to some jerk. I don't know.
Some internet jerk.
I don't even know who this guy is. All
Well, I
is
know, but
something that's in the alien
you
voice.
guys, he sounds like a jerk.
He exposes some bad people sometimes.
All right. I don't know. Like, I've talked to literally the worst people you can imagine, so I'm not really surprised of anything anyone says. Really.
I had a conversation with Amos Yee once.
No.
Yeah,
That boy does not understand biology.
or basic
All right.
psychology.
He's just a lying troll who wants to antagonize people.
And
He knows what
ladies,
he's saying
boys
is
and girls,
bullshit.
children of all ages, those of you who are currently participating in the chat, it is time for a segment of final thoughts. We'll start with, of course, the far left side moving towards the right. So that starts with you, OJ. Do you have any final thoughts about the stream? Anything you want to talk about else?
It was terrible. I'm very sorry, everyone. No. I don't know. I like the new Kirby game.
Is it good? I haven't actually gotten to see anything about it yet.
It just came out. I got it in the mail yesterday. I think it's really short though, but it has like some extra modes and stuff. But it's fun. It seems more like they were gonna make it for the 3DS, and then they're like, "Hey, let's just put it on Switch to get another game on there." But it's not like it doesn't feel bad that way. It's just it seems like, hey, they kind of moved it over at some point in development. But yeah,
play the new Pokemon Sun and Moon.
The new Pokemon, the newest one.
Yeah, Sun and Moon.
Am I gonna play it? I don't like Pokemon.
I too much of it and watch Team 4-Star play it. So.
Oh yeah.
I will play the Pokemon game on Switch if it actually has a new what's the control system where it's not terrible, where you can actually move the Pokemon around on your own.
Yeah, like what is that? Pokemon Dungeon, something like that.
Well, no, it's supposed to be an actual Pokemon game on the Switch where they're making it so it's turn-based. It's not turn-based. It's apparently going to be more like you control the Pokemon and you kind of fight in an arena.
Yeah, okay.
It's not the Tekken kind of thing. It's a new game that hasn't actually been shown off yet.
God damn! I hadn't even heard.
Sounds interesting.
Like there was a leak about the control system being different, and so it's not turn-based, and it's going to be on Switch. And then people were like, "Oh no, that's terrible, garbage!" It's like, "Oh wow, they're going to try to change Pokemon? What a terrible thing to do! It's been the same way for like the last 20 years."
Literally 20 years.
I don't actually know.
98.
Yeah, man, I was alive when the first Pokemon came out. Don't give me that shit. I fucking goddamn it. I don't want to think about that shit. I feel old enough, you fuckers.
Think about it. If you want to feel really old, I was in 2nd grade when that happened.
I fucking hate you so much right now. All right, Kit, final thoughts.
Okay, while on your glider, be sure to look out for looming rocks looming out of the clouds, but more importantly, don't get stranded with nothing but 20,000 crates of eel lippings to live on.
And Miss Steam, any final thoughts? I ain't even gonna bother trying to comment on that shit. Gareth, you with us? You're muted.
You seem to have muted yourself.
Yeah. No comment.
No comment. Comment on the final thoughts for Steam. Red, any final thoughts on anything we've discussed about today? Any other topic you want to briefly discuss?
I like dogs. Dogs are great. And I found a copy of Kim and Kim, so I'm going to be reading through that just to see just how bad it is. Also, keep an eye out tomorrow sometime. I'm probably going to work on a video. Call it the NFG. I'm going to be going after Undoomed because fuck it, why not? I have nothing else better to do.
Wow.
So, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most important things that we have to realize is we have to be at least moderately civil to one another. In these sorts of situations with like streams, talking, even just on something like Twitter, you got to at least treat somebody with some fucking modicum of respect. Because if you don't, you're going to have this whole issue of everybody's going to want to fight, and then no offense to him, but internet blood sports happens.
Yep.
It's Jerry Springer. That's what they're going for. It's an entertainment format. But if you want to have like, discussions like this that we've had here today, there has to be a mutual basis of respect here. And I think it's important for us all to understand that despite disagreements we may have, we're all still fucking human.
I'm not a human. I'm an animal.
Well,
No, you're
agnostic, then you don't even believe in humanity. You just think, oh, I'm just a consciousness. And...
I'm a 2,052-year-old fox deity trapped in a human body.
No, you're fucking not.
By my own choice, but I can't get back, so I'm trapped.
Okay, yeah. No, you're fucking not. Anyway.
Do a quantum leap.
Yeah, fuck it. Quantum leap.
I don't think it works like that, but okay. I will use the incredibly limited amount of magic a human body can access and attempt to open a portal between dimensions.
Oh, that's so nerdy.
thank you guys for watching. As usual, I would love it if you guys could leave a comment after the video is over, and be sure to dislike the stream so I know who all actually liked it. If you like the stream, be sure to hit the dislike button. And if you're new here, we do this Citrus Quest every month, and then we have, of course, Citrus Quest After Dark, which is our lovely on-demand show. If you bring us a topic that we can actually justifiably talk about for half an hour, I will make the show, and the show will go. As for Citrus Quest International, if you want to see one of those, you have to bother Miss Steam on Twitter at RealMissSteam.
And donate to his Streamlabs, so he has to go to
No, don't do that. Don't
Do
fucking do that.
Do it.
Don't
Do it.
Do it.
Don't fucking want to go.
Do
Jesus.
it. Okay, you'll have fun.
Do it if
It'll
you
be
want to be cool.
fun. You'll become a fan of anthropomorphic art
No.
thingies,
No, I
and
will
then
not.
you'll be a
I'm
furry.
not a goddamn furry.
Yes.
Don't forget to check out Otter Jesus. Is gracious enough to come on today. He is at Autism Monster on Twitter. He also has YouTube, which if
Can
you're
you say that
watching
again, because that was just like blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like all the Terminator noises.
Oh, sorry. At Autism Monster on Twitter. Be sure to follow Otter Jesus. Go say hi to him. Give him some love from the coon. And he also has a YouTube channel. Feel free to go check that out as well. That is Otter Jesus Hug Patrol, or is there another one?
I have two. One is Otter Jesus Hug Patrol, which is the one I'm going to be using from now on. The other one's my personal channel that's just like stupid.
Fair enough. So have him check out Otter Jesus Hug Patrol.
Sorry.
All right. And as for our lovely panelists today, as always, be sure to check out our co-host, Miss Steam, who is at Real Miss Steam on Twitter, and Miss Steam here on the YouTubes. Kit, do you ever even fucking produce content, or are you still being lazy?
Hey, I'm gonna get around to it eventually. Probably.
It's still being lazy, but go check out Kitsune, whatever the fuck.
Vulpine Deity. That's the name of the channel.
It used to be Manwich of the West, and that was fucking easier to remember. But no, motherfucker's got to change shit on me. And then, of course,
What? It was too memeable.
and of course, check out Red Fox's Yard Shift and other shows. Recently, we've been discussing the concept of toxic masculinity, which is a fucking pain in itself.
Incredibly.
Oh my god, I swear to God. There's always so many fucking problems with the concept. But thank you all for watching. I'm going to go ahead and lead out with our infamous ending music segment that always gets my fucking channel hit for monetization on other people. But as always, thank you guys for watching. This has been the Citrus Quest of the month. See you guys later.
Bye.
That's a bye-bye for me, huh?
Bye-bye.
Fucking swear to God.
No, don't.
We'll carry on, we'll carry on, and variants that I can't believe.
That was louder than I fucking expected.
Carry on, and everywhere when I can't contain it, the answer will explain it. Remember me for centuries. My teenage dreams. No, it's nothing wrong with me. Guess I'm all wrong. The stories are wrong. Heavy metal broke my heart. Now that I know what I'm with, you can just leave me. Breathe into me and make me real. Bring me to life.
Wake me up!
Wake me up inside.
Can't wake up!
Wake me up inside.
Save me!
Call my name and save me from the dark.
Wake me up!
Bid my blood to run
Can't wake up!
before I come undone.
Save me!